There's no other way to break it down. And don't put me on your camera because I do not give you permission.
Well, we're in a public
This
space.
is foolishness. That's what you want to see?
But calling me fascist is hurtful.
I don't care.
What have I said that's
Bullshit.
lying?
That's what it is. It's bullshit.
Well, you have an opinion.
No, don't record me. Take your ass back over there.
If you can state your name.
Maggie or Margaret Paredes.
And explain where you are and why you're here.
So I am at the Seminole County Educational Center. I am a former Orange County and Seminole County teacher. I also taught in Texas, so I've taught for a total of 10 years, and I quit teaching after 10 years in May of this year.
Now, the room is at capacity for the school board meeting, and the topic of discussion are sexually explicit books that are in the library and have access, that the children have access to,
yes.
And that many people think that it's wrong. In another interview, you don't think so. Can you tell me why?
So if we break it down, we can look at books and we can see, we'll see a heterosexual couple in their relationship in some books. And we never say it's about sex. But you put an LGBTQ couple in a book, or you put the LGBTQ community in a book, and you call it sexualized, you know?
I'm going to be argumentative.
No, I want to hear your idea.
But if the author is making explicit sexual comments that are in the book and the children are reading it, can you name me one heterosexual book that goes into that is sexually explicit in the library?
Who are you recording for?
WNN, whoever it is, I don't care. I'll say it. If you look at romance heterosexual books, there are plenty of romance heterosexual books that are sexualized. If you look at teenage YA books, there are tons. I'm a huge reader. I read 200 books.
Can you name a couple of them?
Red, White, and Royal Blue is a gay one, but it's got sex. But if you look at any YA book today, that's the selling factor. Now, I will tell you, I can't name any because I don't teach. I taught elementary school. Twilight, there we go. I taught elementary school.
Series.
Come on.
Patricia Briggs.
But there's a lot. So if we're going to say, oh, we're going to limit the LGBTQ ones, then we need to do that for the straight as well. Now, if we're not giving our kids resources, let's be honest.
So you're okay with the books that are sexually explicit that are up for discussion right now?
If you have been a teacher in this community, you'll know that these children have been exposed to this stuff
I'm just asking
way quicker.
If you're in favor of it.
Just let me finish and I'll tell you. Yes, because they're not sexualized. These kids start having sex a lot sooner than we are. They're exposed to so many things in TikTok, social media. Does it make it right? No, but I'm not their parent. It's not my decision to say what they don't need to read and what they do need to read. That's up to their parent, number one. Number two, I do not have to look at just that part. You know, there's so many books if you look at The Age of Innocence, that's a book I read in high school, and it is a classic book, but it's all about sex. And it's a heterosexual kind of book. That never got banned. So you have to think about that too. When we go back to classics.
Yeah, I've read the book, but it's not graphic sexual acts.
Yeah, I mean, any kind of mention. To me, I was told whenever the Don't Say Gay bill came out, I was an elementary teacher.
Where in that bill does it say don't say gay?
It's called that by us, the LGBTQ community. The LGBTQ community.
But
now,
in that bill, there does not say don't say gay anywhere in the bill. That's a lie.
It says that there should be no sexualized stuff in the classroom. Now, let me tell you, as a teacher, please let me finish. As a teacher, I did not have to, I could not have any LGBTQ friendly books in my elementary school classroom. I had to take them out. So what happened was when that bill passed, we were told by my principal that we couldn't have them in our classroom. I had them in my classroom. I had books that my kids could relate to, books about their families, different, diverse families. So you know what I did? I let my kids read them.
Now, were these on
and then
the
I took them
list
out.
of approved books?
And that's another thing. Teachers should not have to have an approved list that everyone and their mom can read.
Well, that's part of, going back to the Don't Say Gay bill, can you tell me where in the bill it says don't say gay?
Let's pull it up and read it out loud, don't we? Should we?
I've read the bill. It doesn't
yeah.
say that in there.
Yeah, so we call it Don't Say Gay because it basically means that you can't be LGBTQ. It's shutting us up. So I think I'm done because everything I say, you have a different argument to do, and there's no point.
Two sides of every story.
There is.
Your side is interesting and very few,
Oh, yours is very interesting as well.
but you don't want to discuss it. That's okay.
No, I don't because I'm very uncomfortable with this conversation. So here you go. All right.
Well, thank you.
And I want him, he recorded me, I'd like him to delete what he recorded of me. Okay. Okay.
You're calling me a fascist.
I don't
Holy
care.
mackerel.
You know, I don't.
At what age is it appropriate for grammar school teachers to discuss issues like sex and gender with their students? Should it be done with kids as young as pre-K, second grade, fifth? Even a decade ago, the most common answer would have been never. These are simply not appropriate subjects for young children. If, for some reason, they did have to be raised, it would be the parents' job, not the teachers. Today, it's much different. Now these are pressing questions and very much on the minds of parents. They are part of what the media calls the culture war. But parents didn't start this war. The war has been waged on us. Until recently, we had no idea it was even happening. Now it's hand-to-hand combat, school boards versus mom and dad. It's not clear who's winning. Starting in September 2022, New Jersey first graders will learn about gender identity under new sex education guidelines. A sample lesson plan reads as follows. You might feel like you're a boy, even if you have body parts as some people might tell you are girl parts. You might feel like you're a girl, even if you have body parts as some people might tell you are boy parts. And you might not feel like you're a boy or a girl, but you're a little bit of both. No matter how you feel, you're perfectly normal. Yes, Junior might be struggling with his fractions, but never fear, he's rock solid on his preferred pronouns. The Evanston-Skokie School District 65 in Illinois has adopted a new LGBTQ plus Equity Week curriculum that will teach kids in pre-K and kindergarten about people who have more than one gender or no gender at all. Kids in first grade can pick their own pronouns, including Z, Zer, and tree, and are told they can switch pronouns anytime they wish. All feelings are respected all the time. Third graders, generally around 8 years old, are also encouraged to overcome their prejudice that gender is binary. Parents have mounted a counterattack. Our deep concern that our children are being prematurely sexualized and thus confused about their identity is manifest in Florida's Parental Rights and Education Act. Its text plainly states that discussion of sexual orientation is out of bounds. This piece of legislation, which now has counterparts in several other states, has in turn been mocked by progressives. Setting aside the appropriateness of teaching small children that their gender is malleable or that kids designating tree as their preferred pronoun is okay, progressives say the Florida law is unnecessary. Why? Because these progressives claim these lessons aren't actually taught. They are a figment of the parents' imagination. Some figment. But if this is all just a fevered dream on the right, then opponents of these bills are caught in their own circular logic. If these topics aren't taught in schools, then why is the bill controversial? Florida would be legislating against nothing. But that's not what's happening. Recently, in the Glendale Unified School District in California, parents confronted their school board after they learned that a third grade teacher had shown their kids videos for Gay Pride Month that included nudity and discussions of sexual arousal. A decade ago, this teacher would have been chased out of town with pitchforks, metaphorically speaking. Today, it's controversial. The purpose of the Florida law is to stop this sort of education. Activists and their media allies say the Florida bill stigmatizes kids who are not heterosexual or who have gay parents. Never mind that being straight is also a sexual orientation. The point is, any classroom discussion about sex and gender identity should be off the table. It's not surprising parents want to protect their small children from inappropriate lessons that have nothing to do with what school is supposed to be about. You know, quaint notions like reading, writing, and arithmetic. What's surprising is that it's even an issue at all. Why is this madness, and what is it if not madness, even happening, and who's behind it? It's not like there was a crying demand from 7-year-old boys to identify themselves as a girl or as a boy and a girl. These questions are not easy to answer. The sudden eruption of madness is never easily explained, but this much is not in doubt. You're not crazy. They're crazy. You're not crazy to be worried about what your children are learning in school. They're crazy for wanting your children to ponder their sexual identity in 2nd grade. You didn't start this culture war, they did, but we have to win it, or we will all suffer the consequences. I say we because I'm one of you. I moved from New York, where I had lived my entire life, to Florida to protect my children. The progressive left is using sexual identity issues as a bulldozer. They've run over the educational establishment, and they're coming for your house. Parents, man the barricades. I'm Carol Markowitz, columnist for the New York Post for Prager University.